Hello everybody, my name is Professor Rich and today we are talking about tea. I hope you have your tea with you. We are talking about tea and British etiquette with tea and tea time and all of those lovely things. So welcome to start us off. We have the question, tea or not tea? That is the question. So you can look here at the pictures A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and K. And tell me which of those are tea and which are not tea. Type your answers into the chat now. My name is Teacher Rich. Please do make sure that you smash that like button and hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. This is the coolest place on the internet to learn English, and we do all of the really fun topics here. I do indeed have my tea in my favoured cup. I know it's not traditional. Unfortunately, I don't really have a good traditional tea set. There is this tea set, which is actually a Thai tea set. And I know it looks really lovely, but it's not English. And I thought it would be a bit strange if I used a Thai tea set for my English tea. So we've got this teapot here. This is actually, again, this is a Thai teapot. Now, what's the difference with a Thai teapot and an English teapot? The English teapot would tend to be shorter and fatter. And this is quite tall. So that's how we can tell it's a sort of a Thai teapot. But I do have my tea, and I do, in fact, have my cream. So, as you know, English people, we have milk or cream with our tea, and I've got my cream, and I'm going to put my cream now in my tea. Oh, yes. And that is, of course, the correct way of having tea. You can use milk as well, full-fat milk. But for a real fancy tea time, you want cream, really, don't you? And I do have one of my favourite snacks with tea. Snacks, is that the right word? My favourite accompaniment for a lovely cup of tea we've got. Do you know what these are? Answers in the chat. What are these? These are absolutely fantastic. If you've never had these, they're really, really nice. Absolutely lovely. Oh, I'm looking forward to this. Oozing with butter. So while you wait, because I'm just going to enjoy my crumpet now, while you wait, I want you to tell me, for A to K, tell me which of those are tea and which are not tea. Which of the pictures are tea and which are not tea? Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's so good. Oh, and here comes the tea. Oh, that is a creamy tea. Oh, wow. That's brilliant. There you go, everybody. English people and tea. That's what it's all about. Oh, that's so good. It's so good. Right. Okay. Let's have a look at some answers. So A. What do you think? A. Is it tea? Ding, 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 ding. You are correct. If you chose A as tea, A, in fact, is tea. What about B? Is that tea? B is coffee. B is not tea. And what about C? C is coffee. All right. And what about D? What do you think about D? Did anyone choose D? No one said anything about D. Oh, Sonia says D is tea. Anyone else? What do you think? Coffee, says Irene. Irene Piatti. Irene, you're good at this. It is coffee. Well done. I thought D was tricky. How about E? What about E? Daisy knows what she's doing as well. Well done, Daisy. E is coffee as well. F. F. Oh, that's so good. Oh, it's just so good. These are here you go. This is what I'm having. These are crumpets. Crumpets. Get some crumpets. Heavily toasted. So make sure they're really toasted. Not quite burnt, but toasted heavily, like mine. Like that. Then put loads of butter. And then have those with your tea and cream. Oh. Wow. That's just great. Yeah. F is not tea. It's coffee. G is tea. What about H, folks? Snow Cool Wing says A, G, and H. A, yes, you're right. G, yes, you're right. H, you're wrong. It's coffee. H is coffee. And what about K? K is tea. It's tea. That's what tea looks like if you make it really strong and then put milk in it. Do you want to know the trick here? The trick to see if it's tea or coffee is if you look really closely, do you see here? You see this? The bubbles there at the edge like that? Tea doesn't really do that unless you put a lot of milk and it's creamy milk. This is more of a coffee thing. So that's how you can see. What about Z? Z is a joke. It's not tea. It's Bailey's, which I don't drink anymore because I don't drink. Day 65 or something? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that's not tea. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to the stream. My name is Professor Rich, and today we're enjoying a lovely cup of tea and crumpets. And this is what we're going to do today. We are going to play tea or not tea. Actually, we've done that. And we're going to fix the banner a little bit. There we go. We're going to discuss tea, learn about the history of tea in the UK. We're going to learn tea etiquette, and we're going to learn tea idioms. By the way, everybody, this was actually a request. This was a request by our community, and you can join our community. We have a Discord, and it's really lovely, and everybody loves it. So I put the link in the chat. It's bit.ly/inglearnchat. You can join our Discord, and you can vote for future streams. So if there's a topic that you want to learn about in English, then join our Discord and come and tell us what you'd like to see. What would you like to learn about? So this was a request from the Discord. Tea? Why, yes. I don't mind if I do. What does this expression mean, I don't mind if I do? Answers in the chat. What does the expression mean, I don't mind if I do? While I enjoy my crumpet. Oh, Oh, that's good. Oh, oh. Oh, that's good. Oh, Madame Tarlequin, you do make the finest crumpets and tea. Oh, why, thank you, Mr. Buttersworth. So, I don't mind if I do. What does that mean? I don't mind if I do means it's a way of saying I'll have one. Or I will do it. Normally it's something kind of nice or maybe even naughty, like chocolate or cake or something. So what do you think about tea? What do you think about the way English people drink tea? We've had a lot of conversation on the Discord about tea with milk. What do you think about tea with milk? You can see the type of tea I'm having today is tea with milk. You can't see actually because I couldn't tip it enough. Is this a guepard or a tiger? It's none. It's a leopard generated by AI. Manuel, we're talking about the British tradition of tea. Meow Meow says, hello everyone. Hello Meow Meow. And Ashish says, what are you eating? Sir, I'm eating crumpets. Buttered crumpets. You can see the butter lining my plate. Crumpets are so nice with tea. You need a lot of butter. Toast them, get them very hot, and lots of butter. So it's a bit controversial, isn't it, how we have tea? Because it is different than the rest of the world. So I have put here some pictures about the history of tea in England. So all of these pictures relate to tea on the English timeline. So does anyone have any idea what or who these pictures relate to? We've got this lady here, this lovely lady. She is a lovely lady, actually. I won't have any bad words said about my lovely lady there on the left. 400 years ago. We have here a picture of some rebels doing something. And then we've got a black and white photo. So what do these photos, what do these pictures relate to? And how do these pictures help to tell a story about tea and England? Sonia Butterini says, English people have tea like a ritual. A little bit, Sonia, but not really. It's not really as much of a ritual as Japanese tea ritual. The first one is a British aristocrat who invented tea time. That's a really good guess, Daisy, but it's not right. It's a really good guess. But it's not right. So good. Meow Meow says, Sir, are you Sir Richard? Yeah. Sure. Maria del Carmen says, the picture on top might be the transport of tea from India. Not quite. Ashish says, what time is it in London? It's 2:16. 16 minutes past 2 in the afternoon. Right. Let me tell you about these. So on the left, it's not the person who invented tea time. It's before that. This is Catarina de Bragança. And she is a Portuguese princess who married Charles II. Lovely Portuguese princess. So she was the Queen of England for quite some time. And she brought from Portugal her habit of drinking tea. And she was the person who made tea popular with the nobles in England. So, kind of Portuguese. Now, poor old Catherine, unfortunately, she couldn't have children. So, that's kind of why we don't know a lot about her, because, you know, with the royal families and history, they tend to focus more on the ones who are ancestors of the current royalty. So we don't learn a lot about poor Catherine, other than the fact that she brought tea over here. And by all accounts was a lovely lady. And Charles II, a lot of the advisors of Charles II said, leave her, because she can't have kids. But he refused. And so Charles II did not have a legitimate heir either. Right, in the top right, we've got the Americans throwing tea in the water. They were throwing their toys out of the pram because they realised that English people were just better than them and that Americans are just inferior. And so they threw the tea in the sea just as an expression of frustration about how inferior they are to just British people in general. And then in the bottom right, we have a couple of Tommies. What's a Tommy? Tommy is a nickname for a British soldier. We've got a couple of Tommies having a lovely cup of tea, which was part of the official rations as part of their army service. They were given tea. And the Tommies did look for their tea. So, we're going to talk about the history of tea in England. I'm going to show you a timeline, and I want you to put the events in the correct place. So, here is a list of events from history, and it's the history of tea in England. And I want you to put these events in the correct order. Okay? Right. Tacos? What is that barbaric food? Tacos. It's the food of barbarians. So, I'd like you to put these events in order. A, B, C, and D. Put the events in order. A, B, C, and D. Anawat says it's BEDAC. My God, he's got it. My God, he's got it. That was bloody fast, Anawat. A. So first one, Catherine of Braganza made tea drinking popular with the nobles. Then the Duchess of Bedford became famous for the idea of afternoon tea. She said it deals with the sinking feeling of the late afternoon. So Daisy, this is what you were talking about. Then we have, Yankee insurgents threw tea in the sea because they were jealous of British sophistication. Okay, that's not really what happened. Colonists in the 13 colonies, colonists in Boston threw tea in the ocean to protest high taxes from Britain, from the Queen. King? Who was it? God, I don't know. We don't learn about it. From Britain. This is often seen as the start of the War of Independence. So that's that. Then it's D. So the interesting thing about D is it was a mistake. It was all a silly mistake. Some guy put his tea in some bags and said, here's some lovely bags. And they put the bags straight in the drink. And that was the invention of tea bags. And then finally, C, instant tea become popular with all classes of British society. So this is when tea becomes cheap. And it's quite recent. This is like the 1950s when tea becomes cheap. So that's the order of events there. Now we're going to talk about British tea etiquette. And as you know, I am a very etiquette-minded individual. So I'm going to show you 7 sentences about British tea etiquette. In each sentence, you have 2 or more options for different phrases, and you need to choose the correct options. So have a look. For example, for number 1, it says never, always use boiling water to make tea. You need to choose the correct option, never or always. For this task, you have 5 minutes. 5 minutes for this task. I can't put the timer because of complicated reasons, which I'm not going to go into. Ashish says, sir, can you setting me London girl? Ashish, I can't change your name here. I can change your name on Discord. Are you on Discord? If you join the Discord and then send me a message, send a message to Prof Rich on Discord, then I can change your name on our server, but I can't change your name on YouTube. I don't have that ability. So, as many people are saying, the answer to number 1 is, of course, always. This is the opposite of coffee, by the way. With coffee, you should not use boiling water because it burns the coffee. But with tea, yes, you use boiling water. It's really important, that one, Ashley. Don't get that wrong. Do not get that one wrong. Yeah. There we go. Look at that lovely teapot. Lovely teapot. It's a Thai teapot, not an English teapot. I thought I would show you it anyway. Meow Meow says, I'm new here. Really, Meow Meow? I thought you were someone who I know and is just changing your name to someone else. You said, Meow Meow here. Do you have any meows in your household? I do, and you know I do. You're someone who I know for sure. Come on, who are you, meow meow? Just admit in the chat who you are. You're not new. What usually happens here with thinking face? No, too familiar. I'm sorry, the way you're writing is too familiar. I think I'm pretty sure. I'm sure I know you. Oh, I can see you don't know the answers to some of these. Oh dear. Oh dear. If you really are new, then you should definitely join our Discord, where you can get just the best English learning community in the universe. Join our Discord for loads of free stuff, like free conversation and free requests for future videos. So well done, Katerina. That's a good try. Maria del Carmen, great. Daisy, very good. Number 4 is tricky, but you've got it. Number 5, Daisy, not so sure about that. Katerina knows what's going on with 7. Well done. And Manuel, good. Ashish, the answer to that question is World War II. That's how. And there's an agreement called the Marshall Agreement. Look on Google and you'll find about it. And that is how English became the lingua franca and will never change. It will always be English now for as long as we speak languages. But English itself is changing because of that fact. It's becoming more international English. Daisy says, I want to eat cakes first. Okay, here comes the answers, everybody. So steep, which is the fancy word for leave the bag in the water, steep. We can also call that brew. The answer is 3 to 5 minutes. 1 to 2, there's a trick. You can do 1 to 2 if you're a bit quick and dirty like me. Just put the tea bag in boiling water and then stir it 20 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 10 more. And then take the bag out. And that way takes less than a minute, but the tea is very strong. But the ideal time is 3 to 5 minutes. You add the milk after taking out the tea bag. There are some strange people who do it before, and they actually want to do it before. I recommend you don't do that because it tastes strange. When holding the cup, you do not extend your little finger, okay? So if you see someone doing this, hello, that's not correct. That's some weird thing that appeared in films. It's not right. Don't extend your little finger, okay? Actually, when you drink tea, you shouldn't use a cup like this. This is actually not a cup. It's a mug, and it's far too big for tea. If you're drinking tea and you want to be correct about it, you should use a cup like this, okay? And you can see that the correct way of holding a cup like this is like this. You see? That's how you hold a teacup. Okay. When enjoying tea with food, you eat the sandwiches first. Doesn't matter if you want to eat the cakes first. It's not what you do. And you never pour a new cup for yourself without offering to others first. You must drink your tea very slowly to enjoy the company of the people. All right? So that's the etiquette for tea time in Britain. Anawat says, I heard some British people get offended about microwaving water for tea. Some people think there's a problem with microwaving water. I think etiquette-wise, it's not very good. But in terms of taste, I don't think it's very different. Just don't microwave the water with the tea bag in. That is weird. You can microwave the water, then put the tea in, but not with the bag in. Christina Noble says, hi, it's my first time here. Wonderful. I love the class and the other one. Fantastic, Christina. Make sure you subscribe, smash that like button, and join our Discord server. That's our little chat server. Join our chat server. You can talk to all the wonderful people in chat where we share memes about English, and also you can make requests for future English lessons. This very lesson was, in fact, a request. So we're going to move on to our final section of the stream today, and we're going to talk about tea idioms. Tea idioms. So here we've got 6 tea idioms. These are expressions using tea, because of course we have many idioms involving tea. So we've got not for all the tea in China, it's not my cup of tea, a storm in a teacup, as useful as a chocolate teapot, read the tea leaves, that's a fine kettle of fish, and a watch pot never boils. And I'm just going to make a little adjustment here so that this numbering system actually makes sense. And what I want you to do is to type in the chat in your own words the meaning of these. For example, if I type 1, not for all the tea in China, means I wouldn't do that for anything. Okay? So 1, I wouldn't do that for anything, not for all the tea in China. I want you to write the meanings in chat, in your own words. And if you don't know, then read what other people write, and I'll tell you if it's correct. Yeah, I don't think meow is Pavia, even though they're writing with a super similar style to people who we know. Ashish says, sir, when will your YouTube be live? Ashish, at the moment, it's Saturdays and Wednesdays. Saturday at 2 p.m. UK every week, and Wednesdays at 2 or 3. But I might change Wednesdays because Wednesday has been very unpopular. Apparently, no one wants to watch live streams on Wednesdays. I don't know why. Riadol says, Rich, I drink too much tea. We can't take tea for drinking. You can have, I have too much tea, or I drink too much tea. So I have too much tea. I think the mug is eligible for me. Well, Riadol, as you've seen, I drink tea from a mug. I just wanted to tell you, since we were talking about etiquette, that really it's not correct to drink tea from a mug. It's a little bit working class, you know? But then I am a little bit working class, so I guess it's okay for me to drink it from a mug. Maybe you wouldn't see, what's her name? English with Lucy drinking from a mug. I think she will drink from the teacup. Actually, she probably would drink from a mug. I'm just joking. Lucy plays up the posh thing, but I'm sure she has tea from a mug sometimes. She's a funny character, Lucy, I tell you. We did an interview with English with Lucy on ELT Under the Covers. It's really fun. She was really fun to talk to. Look at these definitions. So let's have a look at number 2. It's not my cup of tea. Ashley Chen says it's not my thing. It's not my style. I'm not interested in it. Yeah, I like that one. So I'm going to say it's that. I'm going to say it's not my cup of tea is I'm not interested. For number 2. Number 3. So I should probably write these on the slides, actually, so that people who watch the stream afterwards can actually see what's going on. So we'll start with not for all the tea in China. So that is, I wouldn't do that for anything. And the next one, just going to make a few copies of this. The next one, it's not my cup of tea, means I don't like that stuff very much. I don't like that thing very much. It's not my cup of tea. As useful as a chocolate teapot. Oh, sorry. A storm in a teacup means it's not as serious as people are acting or saying. People are like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. It's like, all right, it's a storm in a teacup. It's not that important. Let it go. Okay. Next one. As useful as a chocolate teapot, of course, means useless. A chocolate teapot is not useless because it melts. Okay, read the tea leaves. Read the tea leaves means predict the future. So it's like, what do you think the lottery numbers will be? I can't read the tea leaves. Okay, I can't predict the future. What do you want me to do? Read the tea leaves? What do you want me to do? Predict the future? Okay. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Not quite there yet. 2 more. Okay, number 6. That's a fine kettle of fish. That's totally messed up. Or that's a complete disaster. Well, that's a fine kettle of fish. Just means everything's gone wrong. The kettle is the device that we use to boil the water. In old times, the kettle was a metallic container, and we put that, well, a metal container actually. We put that on the gas or the stove, heat up the water. These days, a kettle is electronic, so you push the button and then it uses lots of electricity to boil the water. And when we say a kettle of fish, well, if you've got fish in your kettle, you might imagine that the water doesn't taste particularly good. So that's a fine kettle of fish. It means it's a total mess, a complete disaster. And then we've got a watch pot never boils. This is the idea of time goes very slow when you're paying attention, or when you're waiting, let's say. So the idea is, if you're waiting for the water to boil, don't stand there and watch the pot. Instead, go and do something else. A watch pot never boils. I think there's a bit more to that, isn't there? I think I'm kind of missing the point a little bit. Oh, no, it is. Time seems to drag endlessly when you're waiting for something to happen. That's it. A watched pot never boils. Right. Katerina says, 1, I don't understand what's the origin of these idioms. Not for all the tea in China. So the interesting one about number 1, Katerina, is that there are a lot of different expressions that mean the same thing as number 1. Not for all the tea in China says, I wouldn't do that for anything, right? And there's a number of expressions that mean for the same thing. For example, not for all the whiskey in Ireland. You get the idea? Not for all the chocolate in Switzerland. and so on and so on. So the primary one, though, is this one, not for all the tea in China. And it means I wouldn't do that for anything. And this expression comes from the idea that a lot of tea comes from China. So if you had all the tea in China, you would be very rich, right? But you're saying, well, even if you offered me all of the tea in China, I wouldn't do that. Ni por todo el oro del mundo. Not for all the gold in the world in Spanish, yeah. Sir, can I have your phone number, says Ashish. Yeah, sure. It's 07936 285 327. Of course, I'm not going to give my phone number over the internet, all right? I know a parable about a watch pot never boils. Brilliant. All right, everybody. So there were a few tea idioms. And of course, we do have homework from last week. So the homework is choose a country in the world. Your own country's fine. I want you to research the events in that country in 1939 and then summarize the interesting things you learned in 2 minutes. Record an audio of less than 2 minutes. Join our Discord and send it to me. And then I will correct those on Sunday or on Wednesday. I don't know. Right, everybody. So, question time. If you have any questions about the stream or anything that I've covered today or just English, then you can ask right now in our live chat and I will do my best to answer those questions. You can download the notes from today at bit.ly t or not t. YouTube has been deleting those and saying that it's malicious or spam or something. I don't know what problem YouTube has got with my lesson notes. Never seems to have a problem on Oxford Online English, but for some reason I've had some problems on this channel. I don't know why. But anyway, there you go. It's there for you to download, and I hope that you find that very useful. So, I think I'm starting to understand what part of the problem is here. Anyway, does anyone have any questions about today? Can I help you with anything about today's class or English in general? Let's have a look. Katerina says, is blood pudding tasty? Okay, so we don't call it blood pudding. That's the Americans that call it blood pudding. We call it black pudding. And yes, black pudding is super tasty. So not blood pudding, black pudding. The Spanish call it morcilla. And actually morcilla also is very nice. But yes, black pudding is tasty. Looks like that. Doesn't look so tasty, but it's tasty. It's very nice with baked beans. Do English people drink tea with lemon, says Zoya. Not very often, Zoya, but yes, you can. I do. I drink tea with lemon quite a bit, but it's not very popular. Why are you talking about tea today? Why don't you teach us English, says Meow Meow. Well, I'm sorry, Meow Meow. What language am I speaking? French? What do you want to learn about English? Ask me a question about English. What do you want to know? Meow Meow. Pallavi says, how do we pronounce this word? Lists. Lists, like that, Pallavi. Lists. So it's lists. So what you need to do, Pallavi, is get the t, and then you need to go st. So it's lists, 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 Lists. Lists. Like that. Lists. Lists. Sirijani says, can you explain suppose? Supposed to be. Suppose so. And can you live without coffee? No, I can't live without coffee. And supposed to be, suppose so. The thing is, you're using it in a different way there. So those ways of using suppose are different, right? So when I say, I suppose so, this just means I guess so, which is the same as saying I think so, right? So they're all the same. But then when you say supposed to be, notice the pronunciation's a little different as well. Supposed versus suppose. We now got supposed to be. This means expected to be, meant to be, anticipated to be. Right? So it's actually a very different meaning and different pronunciation with suppose and supposed. Right? So different. Do you have any other uses of suppose that you want me to explain? Because there are quite a few different meanings of this word and phrases with different meanings in how we use it. Rich, how can you describe the taste of black pudding? It's fatty, chewy, and crispy. I think it's a lot about the texture. A lot of it is about the texture, Katerina. So it's like the outside is crispy, but it's like chewy and fatty on the inside. And it tastes heavy and dry. I'm sorry, I'm not describing taste very well here for black pudding. Black pudding is not fine dining. It is not top level cuisine. Black pudding is like dirty, fried up for an English breakfast, right? That's what black pudding is. It's a bit different in Spain because morcilla in Spain is kind of, you can get fancy morcilla. But in England, black pudding is not fancy. It's just a dirty, crispy, fatty food. And we have it in the English breakfast like this. And yeah, it's kind of crispy, meaty, chewy in the middle, very fatty. You see these white bits? These white bits are like fat, chewy fat. So it's different than Spain again, because in Spain, the white bits are like nuts and seeds, but we don't use nuts and seeds. With us, it's fat. What about Welsh tea? I once drank it in a Welsh colony. Welsh tea? I don't know anything about Welsh tea. Isn't Welsh tea is Welsh tea not just English tea, but it's made in Wales? Sorry, not my cuppa, says Ashley. Well done, Ashley Chen. Not my cuppa. That's right, Daisy. I agree. Blood pudding tastes more delicious than it looks. Yeah, exactly. Just like my crumpets today. Such a fatty, unhealthy food. Yeah, it's fatty and unhealthy, Manuel. But I don't drink alcohol anymore, so I can have fatty and unhealthy stuff. Does anyone there have any questions about English or studying, education, grammar, vocabulary, whatever you want? All right, we can stop talking about black pudding now. Duck black pudding tastes quite delicious. I don't know about that, Daisy. It sounds interesting, though. Are you telling me I drink a lot of beer? Well, do you? By the way, everybody, if you're looking for something to watch, then I highly recommend. Really good fun. Fun for all the family. Although, well, there's lots of swearing. But I really recommend One Piece. It's really good fun. This is One Piece on Netflix. Netflix England, anyway. But check it out, One Piece. Super fun. It's based on manga or anime or whatever. But it's really good. It's a live action adaptation, and I really like it. A lot of the people who like the anime say it's good as well. So Shimi says, how to identify phrases. Shimi, what do you mean by identify phrases? And I'll explain this because let me explain what is a phrase. A phrase is 2 or more words. That's it. That's a phrase. Right? So, for example, a phrase is, that's a phrase. More specifically, it's a noun phrase, but it is a phrase, right? And 2 or more words, that is also a phrase, okay? And is 2, that's also a phrase. So any 2 words together is a phrase, or more. 3 words, 4 words, they're all phrases. So what do you mean by identify a phrase? Christina Nobre says, I really love many things in English, but English breakfast is not one in England. Really, Christina? You don't like English breakfast? No. You haven't had a good English breakfast. You have not had a good English breakfast. That's why you don't like it. You haven't had a proper one. It is not possible to dislike English breakfast. Not possible. You can only like English breakfast. There is no way of not liking English breakfast. Look at that. You're telling me you don't want to eat that? Of course you want to eat that. Everybody wants to eat that. Everybody. There is nobody who doesn't like English breakfast. And you know what goes well with English breakfast as well? Ooh, lovely buttered crumpets. Oh, yes. Now, oh, come on. Look at that. Look at that. Do you want that? You want it. You want that. Okay. Is it in British English? Is what in British English? What do you mean, Irene? What is in British English? I am British, so everything I talk about basically is British English. I've never seen a vampire, says Meow Meow. Okay. Only a movie, One Piece or whole... Oh! One Piece. Sorry. It's 8 episodes and there are lots of British actors in it. So it's 8 episodes. The main guy is not British, but if I look on here, the people on this front cover who speak British English are this guy. He speaks British English. This guy speaks British English. This guy speaks British English. And this guy speaks British English. This guy's American. This guy's... I'm not sure about this guy. Maybe this guy speaks British as well. I can't remember. And then I can't remember if this guy speaks British English or not. It's possible also. No, I think he speaks American English. So it's a mix. But there are some great British accents in this. Highly recommend it. It's really cool. It's really cool. Shimi says how to identify classes in a sentence. Classes in a sentence. So when you talk about classes in a sentence, I think that you're talking about the type of word. So first of all, my question, Shimi, would be, why do you want to identify the types of words in sentences? Are you going to study linguistics? Because if not, you don't need to do that. Anyway, the way to start this is to understand the basic structure of a sentence, which is that you have a subject, which is normally a noun. In fact, it basically has to be a noun. And then you have a verb, a doing word, right? And then after your verb, you have a complement or object. And it depends what the verb is as to whether you can have a complement or an object or both. For example, with the verb be, with I am, then you can have a complement or an object. So you can say, I am happy, which is a complement, or we can say, I am a person, which is an object. And you notice here, I have two words. So how come it's two words? Well, it's because these words go together. These words go together, and although person is a noun and a is an article, you can put both of them together and they act like a noun. And that's called a noun phrase, like that. If you're interested in this, this is called formal or linguistic syntax. And it's near enough useless for learning languages. Basically useless for learning languages. Has a little use, but it's basically useless for people learning languages. But it's fun. I studied it, and it was very fun to do it. I in fact went one step further, and I studied theoretical syntax. And theoretical syntax is the idea of making a syntactical rule set that fits every single language in the world. And it's very interesting and very fun and totally useless for learning languages. Sir, can I have your phone number? Ashish, I'm putting you in timeout again. Rich, have you gained weight after you stopped drinking? I'm not sure, Zoya. Sometimes I feel like I've lost weight, and other times I feel like I've gained weight. Right now, I think that maybe I have gained weight. Let me clear this, says Meow Meow. Shimi is asking you to differentiate between clauses and phrases. Oh, yeah. Is that what you're doing, Shimi? Did I miss you saying that? Oh, instead of classes, you were saying clauses. Ah, well, that's different. That is different. So a clause is a way of defining a part of a sentence. And in fact, a sentence itself is also a clause. But a clause is more specific than a phrase, because a phrase is just any two words together, right? But a clause is a specific unit in language made up of subject plus predicate. And the predicate, as I talked about before, is either a noun, an object, or a complement, right? So that's a clause, a subject plus predicate, right? The standard verb clause. So, of course, a sentence is a clause because you have a subject and a predicate, right? But you can break it down as well, and you can have things like subordinate clauses. So let's say that our sentence is, I think he likes cheese, okay? Then our sentence has the subject and predicate of I, and then our predicate being verb, and then everything after the verb. So I think he likes cheese. But then we can identify within this the subordinate clause of he likes cheese, which is a clause within our sentence. So it's I think, and then we've got another clause with subject and then predicate, right? So we've got subject plus predicate at the outer level, and then the inner level we have subject plus predicate, okay? And I want to emphasize once again, this is basically useless for learning languages. But if you want to learn about it, by all means learn about it. But you definitely don't need to. And you can pass C1 in English without learning it. C2 maybe you do. But C1, no. Maria says alcohol has many calories. That's true, Maria, but when you stop drinking alcohol, then you eat lots of calories as well. A clause needs more information to be complete. Is that true? I'm not sure if that's true, Maria del Carmen. But anyway, we're arguing about syntactical language, which is unnecessary. I don't think a clause does need more information, by the way, because you could just have a main clause, right? You could have a main clause, and a main clause is a sentence, so it doesn't need anything to be complete. Meow meow, are you Gus? Is this Gus in disguise? I'm just kidding, I'm just a student. Okay, you guys are just talking. Does anyone else have any questions? Katerina, Britain's most luxurious train journeys. Oh, is this the one? Is that the one with, what's his face? Because I've heard that's quite good for old people. I don't know if you're, I don't think you're older, Katerina. I think you're young. But I've heard, I think, is it this one? No, this is not the one. Ah, there's another one though with, what's his name? It's really popular. People love it. Great British Railway Journeys. Great British Railway Journeys. People love that show. My dad loves it. It's with Michael Portillo. Used to be a Tory MP, but he's very popular now because people love him for some reason. He's very charming. He's a charming guy. All right, Ashish, you've had enough warnings. Bloody don't have time for this nonsense. You are permanently gone. Goodbye. A phrase is a group of words without a subject and a predicate. That's not true. That's definitely not true, Meow Meow. I don't know where you got that. A phrase can have a subject and a predicate. A phrase can have anything. It's nothing to do with it if it has a subject or a predicate. Like, for example, that's a phrase. I'm going to go. And it does have a subject and it has a predicate. But that is a phrase. So that definitely is not true. Ashish cannot give you his online number. Why don't you understand? Well, Ashish is now banned from the channel. Congratulations. Congratulations, Ashish. You are the first person the second. The second person I've ever banned from my YouTube channel in 15 years. So well done for that. All right, everybody, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching. My name has been Professor Rich. And please do smash that like button, hit subscribe. It's been my pleasure. I hope you've had a wonderful time. I have, as always, had a wonderful time drinking tea and eating crumpets with you. And I will catch you next time. Join our Discord and say hello to everybody. We're really friendly. And Pallavi is there 24 hours a day playing Pokemon and pretending to study. All right. Catch you later, folks. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Have a lovely